Hi, welcome to Amelia Paris Salon and Spa. We are again with a therapist herself. Introduce yourself, Kelly.
Hi everybody, I'm Kelly Bradshaw. Nice to be here.
Yeah. So we're talking about how she's a therapist and I'm not a therapist, and it's really awesome though to kind of be a therapist behind the chair, even though you've never been trained for that. And it's interesting to be an artist, and you're really not a great communicator when you're an artist. You sort of create, like, through paintings and through your work. That's how you express yourself. Words are,
Absolutely.
yeah, sometimes crazy. And it's so cool because I think about, like, when I first started doing hair and just how amazed I was with the fiber. Like, I would just look at it and I would just, like, touch it, and then I learned how to do hair and played with it, and then there would be these conversations that would always start. And people would just start telling you everything.
And then your creativity would then flow.
Yeah, so you're being creative, but there's still people that are processing in your chair. Like, when you're working with people, you know, and they're telling you, like, all their emotions, and, like, that's your main focus, right?
All you have to do is listen.
You're listening, you're repeating it back to them, you're using all these tools that you've learned throughout your life. Right. Well, hairdressers don't know that. No one's given us tools. We're just creating, and we're in this space and in this environment, and these people just start telling us everything.
Right.
You know, we're working in their crown chakra. This is like the part of the brain, like, we're touching their brain. We're relaxing them with the way that we're stroking their
very
hair.
Interesting.
We're using a really super fine tipped instrument and dragging it across the brain, sectioning, you know, doing our craft, but at the same time it's so relaxing to the client.
That they're relaxed enough to tell you things.
And then they just start going.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's all interwoven.
It is. But I feel like having information for other hairdressers who don't understand what's happening to them, like, as a therapist, you're trained to understand that it's really not about you, right?
Never.
You're just listening and you're repeating back to them. And what else is happening?
Well, you block yourself because you want to be fully immersed in the individual that's speaking to you. And so 100% of your whole being is listening to what they have to say to you because it's important to them. And so therefore it's important to me to know what thoughts are going on in their head. So I shut me down and fully immerse in what the person has to say. It's important.
So as a hairdresser, we tend to do the complete opposite. We feel like, oh my God, we have to help this person. So we start telling them about our own experiences, and it becomes completely about us.
Yeah, and see, if you block yourself and fully listen to the person and are immersed in what they have to say, they eventually are empowered enough to heal themselves. Just by you listen.
Yeah. And you know what else is uncomfortable for hairdressers? We think we have to fill that silent
No,
space.
hell no.
Yeah, we feel like we have to keep talking.
No.
You know, and they need the opposite, right? How important is that silence there?
100% agreed. Yeah, because the person, you know what that silence really is? Most people don't understand what that silence is. That silence is a person sitting there in their own thoughts. And I always tell my clients, even if they're uncomfortable thoughts and even if they're painful thoughts, to sit there with that emotion and to work through it themselves and understand what that pain might be or what that uncomfortableness is. And again, it's all about empowerment, because if they sit with it instead of running or fleeing or doing a data dump, to sit there with that for any length of time, they eventually have the power within to resolve it.
So if you could give us hairdressers just some of your main tools that you use every time. Like you said, sitting in the silence is huge.
Yep.
And repeating back to them what they're saying.
Huge.
And what else did you say? Just holding that quiet.
So, you've hit every single one of them. The only one that I would add to that is open-ended questions that says, I'll give you a couple for instances. Tell me more.
Oh, tell me more.
Tell me more. Those 3 little words are powerful. Tell me more, and they'll continue on.
And you know what else I noticed about when you say that is the way you say it.
Yeah,
it's
that
so
you're interested.
encouraging and so
And you're
sweet.
interested, and
Yeah.
tell me more about that. That's saying to the person, I'm interested in what you're saying. So tell me more. Tell me more about that. Or what do you mean by that? Tell me a little bit more about what you meant by that. Open-ended questions. The more they talk, the more it gets out. You know my theory. Everybody's born with a backpack, and they go through life and they pick up these rocks and they put them in their backpack, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. So a therapist's job, hairdresser's job, is to help them open up that backpack for the amount of time they're sitting in your chair, to pull those things out of the backpack so it doesn't go back in. The whole objective is for them to feel lighter in life and to be liberated and to truly enjoy what life has to offer, as opposed to walking around very heavy with that backpack.
Yeah, I love that. Kelly told me that like a long time ago, and it was so awesome because I never forget. I just never forgot that and the importance of that.
People totally get it when you tell them that, because when you say it, you can tell in their eyes. They're saying to themselves, "Oh yeah, I have that backpack on. I have that back. I don't ever have anything in my backpack. I love myself enough to know that that's not worth carrying.
Yeah.
Just not worth carrying it. There's too much life has to offer."
Yeah. I think for hairdressers too, we want to see the artwork done, and as you want to see the finished product in the haircut, the hair color. But in addition to that, we're so used to that time frame where we also want our conversations, like when they leave, we want them to be better. Like whatever problem they had, we want you to be better in one shot. You're gonna look in the mirror, you're gonna have this confidence, and you know you were fighting with your mother or your sister or your brother when you came in, or you're sad about something, and we want it all fixed. And healing takes time.
It does. That's why sometimes sitting with it. I'll give you a for instance. I was talking with a client recently. She called me on the phone, and she was very upset about an issue. And what she did, what she elected to do, was call her friends, call her family, call me, her therapist, called everybody to do this data dump. And I said to her, you rely on everybody else, and the one person that you always have to rely on is yourself. And you're choosing not to rely on yourself. And so I'm going to encourage you the next time that you're uncomfortable with something or sad about something, I want you to sit with that. And because it's painful, I want you to say, well, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? And I want you to sit with that and not run from it, and not pick up the phone and call 900 people to get it all out. I want you to sit with it and figure out what that's coming from, what your gut's trying to tell you, and resolve it yourself. The empowerment from that alone is huge. You know that you don't really need anybody else. You really always have yourself to resolve whatever may be going on in your life. But people just want to run from that, and I'm like, no, sit with it. Sit with it. There's a reason why you're going through whatever it is. Sit with that and figure it out.
Yeah.
So empowering.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a tool of yoga would be to teach them how to sit with that. Like, what does that mean? Because when you tell somebody to sit with that, they're like, really? Okay, well, how do I do that? What does that mean? How do I process? It can be many different ways for lots of different people. You can do a walking meditation, and sometimes the movement, but being in the quiet, walking through the park or whatever, will help your brain to process. Not everybody can just sit still in, lotus pose with their eyes closed and be able to process. For some people, that's really awesome. So understanding that tool, it's a little bit more advanced, I think. sometimes even running is huge for the brain. It goes super duper fast.
Yeah, those that have to pick up the phone and call somebody or can't deal with it themselves and don't believe in themselves. And why I want them to sit with it is so that they learn to believe in themselves. It's
Yeah.
huge. You have to have that belief in yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I want them to sit with it. They look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but they'll end up believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Huge. There's no bigger gift in life than
Huge.
having the belief that you can conquer anything.
I love that. Aren't these great tools? What other tools? What else you got in your backpack?
Those are the three big ones. I love the tell me more.
I love that.
I love the open-ended questions. Listening. Don't fill the silence. Don't fill the silence. And just being emotionally connected with somebody. I really view that every person that I encounter, every conversation I have, I'm meant to have. And so I want to be present for that, and not be thinking about, oh, I got to go shopping, I got to go do this, I have to go there. That's why I close me off when I'm talking with somebody, because I'm supposed to be having that conversation, and I want to be present for what they have, maybe for me to learn, or for me to help them. To be present in every situation is really huge for a true interaction. There's a reason why you and I are having this discussion.
Yes.
And that's why I'm 100% present and in it. There's a reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so just being behind the chair and letting people process in your chair and understand that you can repeat back to them what they say. You can be quiet. You can say open-ended questions like, tell me more. Oh, that's great. You know, that's interesting. What are you going to do with that? That's exciting. You can sort of, sometimes, you ever experience this where you have somebody that really wants to stay in the mud? They want to just keep talking negative talk over and over again, and their brain just sort of gets da-da-da-da-da-da-da. When that happens in my chair, I do not let it continue. I'm super honest with that person, and I just say, can you hear what you're saying over and over again? Do you think it's positive, or do you think it's negative? Are you spinning on the negative, or are you spinning on the positive? Because whatever you spin, you're going to get more of.
And so 2 tools with that. First one is you got to get out of your own way. And so you ask the person, what's blocking you from moving forward?
What's blocking you from moving forward? I love that one.
What's blocking you from moving forward? And the second one is...
Yeah, that's really good.
And the second one is this. Do you hear how self-defeating your negative comments are?
Mm-hmm.
It's self-sabotage. Why would you do that to yourself? Would you walk in front of a moving train? No. Why would you do self-defeating behavior, self-sabotage, with all this negative talk? Figure out what's blocking you from moving forward and then move forward.
Wow. Yes. What is it?
There's always something that's a block.
You know, a lot of times I notice, because I'm in a salon and I can hear everyone else's conversations in here, you know, and I'll hear the clients get into a negative spin, and I will watch that stylist get sucked right in because they don't have strong boundaries. You know, they're not grounded in what they are, and then they'll start spinning on everything negative that happened in their life, and then the client, and it's like this big negative, and then I got to go ring the bells to purify it.
Yeah, it's like a gerbil on one of those little round circular trails. Run.
Yeah.
You got to jump off.
Yeah, I think when you are a hairdresser holding that sacred space, when you have that, someone starts that, you need to stop it. You know, you, in a loving way. Look, I love you. I love doing your hair. I love doing this art on you. But you are bringing me down. All this stuff you're saying is, I don't hear anything good.
So here's the tool for that. Point to a picture and say, see that picture? Do you see that frame on that picture? Imagine what that picture would look like if you took that frame off